Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Smile. Today's guest is Vim Verma. Vim is a husband and father to a spirited 2-year-old little girl with a love for music, cars, and the occasional gaming session. After almost losing everything and a few false starts, Vim finally got sober on the 5th of November 2021, a turning point that completely reshaped his life today. He works as a nationally accredited mediator in the Victorian public sector and shows up with clarity, integrity, and a deep commitment to living differently. He's passionate about helping other people get sober, and he's here today to share his story. Vim, welcome to Behind the Smile. How are you today?
Thank you, Ash. I'm good.
So nice to see you, fam.
So good to be here. Such a nice day. Sun's out. I'm like, this is amazing.
We are ready to go. Awesome. How are you at the moment? Because we're just kind of coming off the back of Christmas, the silly season, New Year's, all that stuff.
Yep.
Still a bit in the vortex, that time where space, what is it? Time and space doesn't really exist.
Kind of, yeah. Like,
Don't know the day of the week.
What day it is. What day is it? Don't really know what's happening. I've still got another couple of days off work, so I'm not back until Thursday.
Nice.
I've had a couple of weeks off, and I'm like, it's been good. It's been busy.
Yeah.
It's always busy. Like, it's always this thing where I'm like, it's just nonstop. It's go, go, go. But it's been good. Like, I've been spending time at home, like, you know, with my wife and my daughter, and it's like, it's just full on. Like, I was saying to my missus yesterday, or the day before, she was like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. And like, me personally, I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. And she knows that, but she's also very extroverted. So it's like the last couple of years, I'm trying to balance like knowing when I need my peace and also just being like, I'm taking holidays. I need to be there for my family as well, right?
You literally just described Damo and I.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
your Damo, I'm your partner. I'm putting the pieces together. I'm like, yeah, this sounds familiar.
That's literally Damo. I know.
Oh my goodness. Hey, how did you go though? Like was this your 4th sober Christmas?
Fourth. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
like,
fourth.
does it get easier for you? Do you find that there's still triggers at all?
100% gets easier.
Yeah.
100%. Like I look back on it now, I'm like the last 2 years, maybe even 3 years, like alcohol hasn't been a thing. It just hasn't been a thing. Whereas my first Christmas, I was 6 weeks sober.
Ooh.
Or 7 weeks sober or something like that. Because November,
Fresh.
yeah, early November I got sober. So I was, 6, 7, 8 weeks sober. Like it was.
And did you just kind of like lock yourself up in a room and not?
Funnily enough, that's when like the lockdowns were happening.
Oh,
So
of course.
I think, I'm pretty sure that first Christmas, my missus got COVID, like all my family, her family, there were like 15 people that got COVID. So no one celebrated. So
Yeah.
it was a God job. Like it was just like, sweet, I don't have to do anything.
I say that about the time, because I got sober at the start of 2020. So when it all kicked off, like I so think that it was a God job in that it removed all the temptation, like all those challenging, saying no to birthdays, weddings, or even just learning how to navigate them sober, like getting a bit of time up before you have to face those occasions can be really helpful to just feel a bit more solid in your sobriety.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, but I agree, it does get easier.
It does get easier. Like this year, like it's been a really good Christmas. Like it's kind of been divided the last year or two. Like a lot of things, like a lot of family are doing their own thing and, people have sort of moved on and, we got a big family. Like we got a big family.
How big are we talking?
Well, mum's side's, was 13 brothers and sisters. Dad's side's 8 brothers and sisters. And then Fee's that's my family. And then there's Fee's family as well. And then it's all the cousins and all the things. So it's, over the years, it's been nuts. Like it was, most of the time it'll be at one of my cousins' places and it'll just be a drinking fest 24/7, like massive drinkers.
Because what's your background?
Fiji and Indian.
And so for those who may not understand, what's the drinking culture like from those, Fijian and then Indian and then combined?
It's kind of like, it's very much like here. It's like you have a barbecue, you got beers, right? In Fiji, it's very much the same. There were points where we would land in Fiji, they'd pick us up from the airport, we'd be drinking at midday. Like that, it's the same culture. Like it's just nuts. It's just all based around alcohol. And you're expected to drink. Like from me and my brother, from a young age, we were just expected to drink beer at midday when we were like, 15 years old. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it was just.
And is there a lot of addiction in the culture or? Yeah, right.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, when I look at the way that I got sober here, like my parents are very open. My family's very open in that sense, right? Like, but in a lot of, that culture, like, you know, Indian, Sri Lankan, Malaysian, whatever, you know, like brown culture, I guess, like a lot of it, there's a lot of stigma around it. Like we don't talk about it, you know?
You don't talk about the drinking or you don't talk about the addiction or both?
Both.
Right.
Everything, like a lot of things. There's just so many expectations. It's kind of also like you don't talk about your feelings. Like you're just expected to, you know, follow this unwritten rule of society where it's like you go to school, you go to uni, you do this stuff, you get a good job, you don't talk about stuff, you know?
And is that coming from a shame thing, like not wanting other people to know the secrets of the family and don't air your dirty laundry? And
Pretty much. And it's like I still face this today. Like not me personally, but like I can see, you know, a lot of families, like because they're such big families, like people will talk about each other. Like there will be things like that will happen here. All of a sudden, my cousin from Canada has told somebody here in Queensland who's told my parents here. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I haven't spoken to you for like 8 years.
that's wild.
It's just nuts. And they'll be like, oh, I heard this happen and I heard this happen. And it's just huge. And then all of a sudden, it's like a massive problem.
Yeah. So you just got to keep that shit locked
Yeah,
down.
you just don't talk about it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. We're going to dive so much more into your story today. And I'm really excited because I've known you for a little while now.
Yeah.
Oh, what? 4+5 years?
Yeah.
We've been kicking around together for a little while now. And there's parts of your story that I know that I just think are going to be so powerful for people to hear today. So we are going to go there. But before we do, I've got 3 super easy questions for you to let people get to know you a little bit better. So Vim, can you please share, where do you live? What does an average day look like? And what do you do for fun?
Cool. So Melbourne, southeastern suburbs. Live in Noble Park North. I grew up in Dandy, so southeastern suburbs. What was the second question?
What does an average day look like?
Average day. I'm still cooked. I'm still in Christmas mode. I'm like,
I've pulled you out of your holiday mode. I'm giving you grace. We're all giving you grace here today.
In my head, I'm like driving on the way here and I'm just like, oh, I don't have my laptop. And I was like, well, I'm not even going to work.
What are words?
Yeah.
How does one form those?
I'm like, damn it, I'm going to have to like string words together to a sentence. An average day, usually Monday to Fridays, wake up, go to work. I'm usually up, 5:36, and I'm off to work. I start at 8:30, right? So wake up, pray, meditate, just do my usual program. I'm a bit more lenient on the weekends. It's only been in the last sort of year or so, but I got a little daughter as well, right? So it's kind of like whenever she wakes me up or whatever happens kind of thing. But for the most part, from the time I got through like the 12 steps, like started working my program from about, 4 months, 5 months sober, I pray, meditate every day.
Wow.
Like every day. I don't always meditate in the mornings, but sometimes it's like if I get to work early, like I'll just sit there for like 5-10 minutes, chuck on a thing on YouTube and just talk through there.
That's really cool. So what does your meditation actually look like? Because I think meditation, we talk about it a lot here on the podcast, and it can mean so many things to so many people. One thing I found really fascinating was back when the Big Book was written in the 30s.
Yeah.
Meditation meant a quiet moment of reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have taken a lot of these Eastern interpretations into meditation and sitting cross-legged in the lotus position for 45 minutes, meaning that's the right way to meditate when it's certainly not. It can just be that moment of reflection. But what does it look like for you in your current program? So
literally exactly what you're talking about. Like I've simplified it to the sense where I've gone back to those basics where it's like meditation is just being without thought. Like I'm just there without thought. And I found it so much easier to go into my day. I found it so much easier to function in life. I found it so much easier to deal with situations as they come up. And especially like years 3 to 4 now have been very tough, like life situations, right? But I'm not particularly reacting to every single thing that comes up. And there was a point where I actually stopped meditating quite a bit as well. Probably start of this 2025. Sorry, I kept,
a year ago.
Start of the year. So,
I've dipped in and out of it as well. I'm not going to lie. And as a practicing yoga teacher, that's probably quite blasphemous for me to say and admit to. But it's true. Like I've just plugged in again recently, and I'm freaking loving it. And I've really noticed the difference. But I do think it's a little bit like going to the gym, isn't it? If you've been really consistent going to the gym every single day, I mean, not that we'd suggest going every single day, but along the lines of you're going really consistently for a period of time. And then maybe you go through a season where you're not going as consistently. You don't lose the muscle completely. Of course, you're not going to be as strong, but I think that there's that muscle memory that maintains. So with my meditation practice, it's always been one of those things that, you know, if I put it down for a period of time, I'm never running quite as well, but when I pick it up, I can almost get it back quite relatively quickly. Like the benefits of, which is being less reactive, being able to sit in the pause, being more calm, allowing, like, living life on life's terms, all of that comes a lot quicker when I step back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And again, like, it doesn't need to be, you know, Vedic meditation is a practice that I really lean into. That's 20 minutes twice a day. But that's not always going to be possible.
Like feasible. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do as well. Like
Yeah.
I would, like I did the like the body scan ones, and then I do like just all different types of meditation. Sometimes I'm sit there for like 20, 30 minutes and I'm like, my mind is just wandering. And then there's also this particular meditation, it's called like the do nothing meditation, where you can actually, you just become like the observer of your thoughts as well. So even when that kind of happens, I did that for a little bit. So now it's kind of just like, yeah, I just follow whatever feels right, I guess.
Nice.
And it's been nice.
Yeah, cool.
Like it's been really good.
What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Occasional gaming.
I love this. It's very measured.
Yeah. Because I'm not a gamer. I'm not a proper gamer. But if you ask my missus, she'll be like, "Yep, you're a gamer. Like something's Nintendo's always on or the PS5's always on." I'm like, just because it's on doesn't mean I'm playing it. Like,
how frequent are we talking?
Well, look,
you're like, I've been on holidays, Ash. It's been every day.
At the moment, I do that like nighttime procrastination thing.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, I'm with Fee, I'm with Ellie during the day. We're doing all the stuff. We're out and about, whatever. I get home and then from like 11 p.m. to like 2 a.m. then I'm just gaming. Right.
Vim, how are you awake at that time?
A million Red Bulls, as you know. So it's still
yeah, the isms.
The isms, right? But it's weird because I'm like, when I'm at work Monday to Fridays, I put Ellie to bed. I'm going to sleep early.
Yeah.
So it's only a couple of days a week where, like on the weekends, really, where I am gaming and stuff. But
and I mean, God, like, if that's all you're doing, like, I think that's okay.
Yeah, I was like, that's fine. I'm not
compared to what it used to look
exactly.
like.
Exactly. And I say that to Fee all the time. I was like, babe, at least I'm home. Like, I'm home. Not always there, but like I'm home. Like,
I'm home. You know where I am.
But yeah, now it's like every couple of days, like I do enjoy it. The best was when Fee was pregnant because I'd be gaming for like 6 hours. Like, and even when Ellie was born for the first couple of months, she'd fall asleep on my chest and like, my babe, I can't move.
Yep.
I'm not allowed to move.
Baby
She's going to wake up.
Yep.
She's going to wake up.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, I love it. Hey, no judgment here. We've all got our things, right? I've got a fellow gamer in this house. So I get it. Hey, I want to talk about your photo.
Yep.
So Vim, you brought in a photo today from a time in your life where you were hiding behind a smile. So you were presenting one version of yourself externally, but internally you were really struggling. Could you please firstly describe for our listeners the photo that I'm bringing up on the screen right now? What are we looking at here? And then what was actually going on for you at that time in your life?
So this would have been, I think I ended up deleting so many photos of just before I got sober, but this was very close to my sobriety date. Like this was maybe, I think about 2 weeks before I got sober. I was outside. I'm in front of my dad's ute. I'm wearing a singlet. It was nighttime. I was drinking, and around that point, it's like my life should have been really good because there were a lot of things happening externally that made sense to the outside world. I guess like I just proposed to Fee. You know, our engagement was coming up in about 2 months from that photo, like the engagement party. Work was going relatively well. Like, it was in the middle or towards the end of that long lockdown that we had, the 3-month one. And during that time, I'm just like, you know what, life's good. It really wasn't. It was pretty fucked. Like, but in my head, and what I believed was that life was good because I didn't have to see anyone. Most of my mates, like that I used to talk to and stuff all the time, like they just weren't around. Like I'd push them away kind of thing. And it's like I didn't have to report to anyone. I didn't have to explain myself to anyone. I was just drinking around the clock. And that became my reality. Like I dropped down to, so in that photo itself, like like I am pretty skinny anyway, right? But like I had dropped down like I think 18 kilos or something at that point, and I was down to 44.6 or 46.4 kilos.
Wow.
So I was eating every couple of days, and even when I was eating, I haven't thought about this before. Yeah, even when I was eating, it was like I couldn't keep it down. Like I would I'd go to mum and dad's once a week. I'd go and eat there. I'd come back and I'd throw up straight away. And it was like the only thing that could stop me was like putting alcohol into my body straight away. It was horrible. Like
Wow.
fucking horrible. And at that time I was like, oh, this is weird, but like it's normal, I guess. Like I just need to get home. My body's telling me that I need to get home, put some bourbon in my body. That's it. And I did that for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And then it was like it happened really quickly. It happened so quickly. Like I went downhill within like 3-4 months, 5 months.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
You mean the progression from being, say, a moderate drinker to a full-blown alcoholic?
Yep.
Oh
4
my-
months, 3 months maybe.
And that was in lockdown?
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So I went from drinking like the Friday, Saturday nights.
Yep.
I was working from home for like 11 months straight at that point. And yeah, working in government, it's kind of just whatever. Like no one cares. Like, you know, I was working, I was working from home, got my whole setup, everything's good. I'm just having a drink on like the Friday, Saturdays. And then before I knew it, yeah, within a couple of months, it was like, oh shit. Like I started drinking at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And then all of a sudden I'd wake up and I'd start drinking. That was within, a couple of months. It got so bad. And that's probably why I got well very quickly as well. That was the thing. Within like 30, 60 days, I was like, oh, I'm good. But yeah, it progressed really, really bad really quick. And then I got really well really quick.
So were you living with Fee at the time?
No.
Okay, so you're living on your own,
No.
which
Yeah.
means no one to be accountable to.
Correct. Yep.
You'd pushed away all of your friends. We were in lockdown as well, so that would have been easier to isolate. Do you remember that first morning that you took a drink?
Vaguely. Yeah.
And was it more of a physical dependency or a thought? Like, was it the thought?
No,
or was
it was
the
the thought.
physical?
It was the thought. It was the thought.
Mm.
It was because I'd had the physical kind of dependency for a couple of weeks. So I'd wake up, I'd have the shakes,
Yeah.
right? And then after maybe about 2 weeks, I think, I'd wake up and it'll be like 4 a.m. and my head's just like, have a drink, have a drink, have a drink. That was it. That's all that set it off. That's all that set off. I was like, fuck. And then there were points like I was having like 3 sessions in the space of like 24 hours.
So you'd like drink to pass out and wake up and
Yep.
start drinking again?
Yep, pass out again, same thing again. And then I'd sort of be soberish, I guess, from like 8:30 to 4:30 while I'm working, and then
Yep.
straight away start drinking again. And then it got to the point where I was like essentially drinking in the mornings, and I'm like, nah, calling sick or whatever. And then yeah, had to get honest with work, and then I stopped work. Like I took unpaid leave. Like I was like, oh, guys, I'm out. I need to go to rehab. I've got to do something.
Yeah.
So I realized, but I didn't do that. I tried. But I didn't do
That's
that.
crazy. Okay. So before we get to you stepping into the rooms and getting sober, which is such a miracle,
Mm.
you mentioned that you weren't an alcoholic or you weren't drinking alcoholically until sort of the last 3 to 4 months. But I know part of your story.
Mm.
And I know that there was a period of your drinking that was pretty chaotic and there was a bit of crashing and bashing going on, right? Was that always the case? Like, take me back to your first drink. What was that like?
Yeah, it was. For the most part, people would always tell me, Vim, just stick to the beers. Just stick to the beers because you on whiskey or bourbon or any of the hard stuff, like there would be consequence. Like there were bad shit that would happen. I initially lost my license for drink driving when I was like 21. It was about 15 years ago. First and only time, right? I never lost it during COVID. I never lost it in this last couple of years. I don't know how. Thank God I didn't kill someone else or myself like on the roads. But yeah, I initially lost it. There was a lot of crashing and bashing. Like I had a pretty good childhood, to be honest. Like mum and dad were really good. They always gave us everything we needed. We got a lot of what we wanted. You know, we were like, they were always hardworking and stuff. But like, dad's an alcoholic as well. Like he's, you know,
Right.
he's been in and out of AA. That's his story. I'm not gonna talk about it. But like he's you know, they provided everything we really needed. So I was pretty lucky in that sense, and I got away with a lot of stuff. And mum and dad, they were always there to cover me when things happen. They're like, oh, we'll pay your fines, we'll pay this, whatever.
Looking back, do you think that encouraged your behavior.
Yep. Yep. I look back at it now, like I speak to them now, like I talk to my brother now about it, and I was like, fuck, like I didn't really get a chance to learn.
Yeah.
Like, from my mistakes.
And what a consequence is, and that ability to adjust your own behavior. Because I think as children, we're just constantly. I've watched it with my little niece now. I'm sure you experience this with your daughter. You know, the job of a parent is to hold a boundary. And I was chatting to someone about this the other day. If your whole plan is to have a child so that you've got this little mini inbuilt best friend, that to me is really cooked, because if you're doing your job correctly, particularly when that child is little, teenager, those really formative years, if you're their best friend, I would suggest that you're probably not doing enough to hold a boundary, to teach them to, because if they're getting everything they want, you know what I mean? Like my closeness with my mum didn't come until I got sober, until I was 32 years old.
Yeah.
Because she was really good at not giving me everything I wanted. Now, did that work? I had my own journey that I needed to go on as well. I just think it's really interesting. And I think, let me reiterate, there's no guidebook. Everyone's doing the best they can do.
Yep.
So there's no judgment or criticism there. But yeah, I do reflect on this a lot, because I'm still in this sort of thought process of whether or not I want to be a mother myself. And I do think that, I just think that the job of a parent is so unbelievably difficult, because if you want to do the best you can do for your child, a lot of the time that means saying no.
Yeah. Like we did get told no, like a little bit, like, growing up, but then it was like we got a lot of love, we got a lot of what we needed, like, but there was also that part of it as well. So I look back and I'm like, now my relationship with my parents is completely different, especially after making amends and, like, changing my behavior and stuff, because like I caused them a lot of pain. Like I did, and I didn't realize it until I got sober. My first sponsor was pretty much just like, you stole their peace of mind, and now I'm like, like I never got that. I was always like, I never punched anyone. I've never anyone. I have punched a lot of people, fuck, unfortunately. But like them, I never physically harmed them. I've never done that kind of stuff. But it was like I really stole their peace of mind. Like they would be up for hours, always worried about me. There was a point where I enjoyed my drinking. I was out Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. I had mates that were promoters. I'd be out clubbing all the time and never get home. And my house, like mum and dad's place, was literally like a hotel. I was just like in and out, But yeah, like in terms of like the question you're asking though, like things did get really bad in terms of those consequences of crashing and bashing, because it was about a year before I got sober. And we're out at a Bucks party, and it was all my cousins and stuff. Everyone's there, and I got into a fight. And it wasn't just me; it was me, my cousin, and a few other people. And we didn't start it. Like we were like it. I spent a year in court, and 6 months of that, I didn't tell anybody about it.
Wow.
Me and my cousin were just battling ourselves, kind of thing, paying the lawyers and this, that, and it was tough. Like it was. We were waiting for the CCTV footage to come back, because it was like we were innocent. Like we walked away multiple times, but unfortunately at the end of the day, like I reacted, caused a lot of harm, and had to face the consequences for that. Right, so I got charged with multiple assault charges. Yeah, it was everything was dropped in the end.
Wow.
Went to court, proved, and then it was dropped. So
is this why you're banned from Crown?
Yes, correct.
I had to ask.
That is exactly why I was banned.
You've always alluded, and I've never heard the full story.
So it was at the R&B Super Club upstairs at Crown.
Not somewhere I frequented, but wish I had.
It was
R&B Super Club,
or whatever it was.
Sounds amazing.
It was a great time.
Yeah.
And we're at the bar, and these guys are like in front of us, and we're just like, yeah. What me and my cousin were talking, we're waiting. It's a Bucks party. We're just chilling. And these guys are looking at us weird and whatever. They're with their girlfriends. We're like, yeah, cool. And then all of a sudden they turn around, they start like saying some stuff. And I was like, whoa, man, like we're here for a good night. So we walked to the middle of the bar. They followed us. And I was like, oh, all right, you're ready to go. But then even then, I was drunk. I was drinking. But I was still sensible enough, I guess. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to walk away one more time. Walked to the end of the bar and they still followed us. Pushed him, other things happened, and then when I dropped, like I snapped, and I just it was you don't want to see the footage. It was insane. I remember the cops like pulling me up, and there's like 12 coppers. They're taking me down Crown. And I was like, how are there so many levels at Crown? Like, I was like, where is the exit? What is this shit?
It's like a metaphor for a rock bottom. Like there's always a trap door. You just keep going further and further down.
Literally just kept going and going and going.
It's so interesting though, isn't it? Like imagine how many bar fights would be avoided if alcohol wasn't part of the factor.
Oh,
like,
100%.
and I've only ever known you sober, and I could just never ever imagine you laying a hand. Like
I was a different person.
Yeah.
Like, that was one time, but I've been in so many fights before that. Just never, like, you know, never followed up on all, and no one's ever actually known that this has happened, or never come out in the public, or like I've never even spoken about it. There were times I remembered, I'm like, oh, there was this fight like 6-7 years ago. Like, I just remembered it. I forgot that it even happened. It was like outside of Macca's car park, and I was like, who am I?
Yeah.
I was like, I was a very angry person.
It's the personality change, isn't it, that we learn about in the rooms of recovery. And I think that's the difference between somebody who's an alcoholic maybe versus a heavy drinker. One of those telltale signs is that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde switch, which I used to get, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know so much that my behavior and the things that I did when I was drinking are so far removed from the way I show up in my life today. You know, like it's a completely different person.
Yeah.
And then as a result of that, like you touched on, your relationships start to heal, because people who in the past couldn't rely on you, couldn't trust you, who were worried about you, like all of that disappears, which is so beautiful.
100%. And it's crazy, like, when that changes as well, because it's like for so long, people are always like they would be scared. Like, there was a point I was scared of myself. Like, I'd look in the mirror, I'm like, I'm scared of myself. And I can't even imagine, like, my missus and stuff. Like, I have shared this before, but, like, you know, there was one time I remember waking up after a sort of blackout, and, you know, I was living in mum and dad's, fever was over, and she just wakes up and she's crying, and she's like, just go look in the bathroom. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? I go look in the bathroom, and I'd, like, punch the walls in, like, at one stage. And I'm like, and I sat there crying. Like, in the toilet, like, what the fuck have I done? Like, who am I? I don't remember that. Like, it just, that personality switch was insane. Like, alcohol did something to me. Like, that hits, you know? Just thinking about that stuff. And I'm like, I can't believe I lived my life that long, like, without realizing. It's crazy.
It's just so interesting as well that you were able to manage your consumption for so long, being this sort of weekend drinker, party person, even though there were clearly consequences from the very beginning. You kind of managed to sort of clean it up. And I think I really relate to this. Then rationalize and justify the behavior. Well, it was their person's fault, or, you know, that was because of that, you know, never really looking at our own behaviors and our own actions, which is what we're asked to do when we get into recovery, which I think is why there's such a pivotal change in personality and outlook on life. So let's go back then to COVID, and you're living alone, and all of a sudden you go from being somebody who would be classified as like a binge drinker, a party drinker, to somebody who's around the clock. What were you thinking, and how did you get help?
Honestly, at that time, like, when the change kind of happened, all I was thinking of was, when can I get my next drink? I would need everybody to leave me alone so I could do it secretively. So there were points. Yeah, you know what? My wife does know about this. But there were points where she would follow me home from mum and dad's. They live a couple of minutes away. So I ended up moving back in with mum and dad, because I'm like, this is starting to be a problem. Before I get help, like proper help, I'm going to move back in with them, and I'll try and manage it. You know, I'll try and do it. And I get back home, I move back in with mum and dad. I was like, Mum and Dad, I'm doing Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get help, and I'll do. And I legit, like, I was like, yeah, you know what? I do need to. And they were like, okay, good. Keep doing it. So I moved back in with them, and like, I packed up my stuff, whatever. And Fee would like follow me home every time I'd go over to my place or whatever, and then move back and forth, because I would lie to her. I'd straight up be like, yeah, I'm going to mum and dad's. And as soon as we turn the corner, I'd drive into the driveway. I'd keep, so sneaky, man. I'd leave my lights on, but I'd turn the engine off. And because it's manual, I just chuck it in the neutral. and just like sort of roll into the driveway. And as soon as I see her car leave, I'm like, fuck, I'm out. Straight back to the bottle-o.
Yeah.
And it was so sneaky and it was so sneaky. It was so damn sneaky.
But it's almost, it's the compulsion is so strong. It's almost like I have to do this.
Yeah.
There's no other. I don't think in that moment, like I just so relate to doing really sneaky shit and hiding bottles and, you know, saying I couldn't be somewhere because all I wanted to do was actually just be home alone drinking by myself. Like if my husband was going out, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes he wouldn't come home. That's a whole nother story. And part of me would be really upset because that was traumatic in and of itself. But the other part of me was like, great, I can drink to blackout now.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no part of it that's like, oh, I'm looking forward to sipping on that Shiraz, that full-bodied wine. It's like, get it in me as quickly as possible.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I think that was the only thought, really. Like that was like, even though fundamentally knowing that something is wrong, the way that I would sort of deal with that is just be like, get a drink in me so I don't have to deal with those emotions.
Yeah.
That's,
or get a drink in me so I can figure out how to fix this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's...
Any reason, really.
Yeah, true. Because sometimes I'm like, I'd have a drink and all of a sudden I've got a plan.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm starting tomorrow and it's going to look like this and it's going to be great and I'll show them.
Yep. I'll show them. Oh, fuck. Yeah.
The good old I'll show thems.
Yeah, the I'll show thems was always, oh, God. For me, that was like between me and my brother, right? Because he's a heavy drinker, but he's not an alcoholic. Like he collects it. He's got nice bottles. And when I was younger, he used to have to lock them up, right? And I'd break the locks once I start drinking. And we'd wake up the next morning and we'd be drinking together. And then he'd go to sleep and he's like, why did you drink my Blue Label last night? I was like, I don't get it. It's alcohol.
It was there.
Like to me, there's nothing.
Totally. Yes.
But yeah, like I'd moved back in with mum and dad and there were a couple of things and I was sort of back and forth. But like I didn't have those thoughts of like, I need help at that stage, even for a couple of months. And one of my mates actually passed away like 6 weeks before I got sober. He had cancer like 2 years before and then it came back and then he died. And then like the funeral was on, like it was online, like it was on Zoom and stuff. And I remember that time something happened. I passed out. Mum and dad took me to hospital. Like I got stitched up and everything. And then I realized at that point, like I'm walking home and instead of coming straight home, I went to the bottle. And I was like, after this, like, after all this shit that happened, I'm just like, no, I'm fucked. I'm done.
Yeah, I've lost the power of choice.
I've completed that. And I knew that I lost the power of choice at that point because I was doing AA meetings.
Okay, so let's talk about your time on Zoom in early recovery because this is brilliant. I mean, we shouldn't laugh, but we should.
No, we should. We have to laugh.
You have to laugh because if you don't, you'll cry.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think it's, you know, the laughter that you hear at a 12-step meeting is such a beautiful sound because it's almost like, again, I'm like, without being a big book thumper, like when it talks about, you know, that feeling of as if we've all just survived a shipwreck.
Yeah.
And it's like,
say that.
no, it's
the camaraderie.
Like, yes. It's like, oh my God, we made it. We're here, guys.
Yep.
Like, thank God. So you started doing Zoom.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Yep. So my first meeting was Rule 62 in person.
Which, for context, was Vim and my home group.
Yep.
For a few years, which is how we met.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my very first meeting I went to where I met Simon, my first sponsor.
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys, right? So that was my first meeting, but then I was like, oh, I can just do Zoom meetings. It'll be easier.
Was it in person, that meeting? The first one you went to?
That one was in person. My very first meeting was in person.
Because it was hybrid back then, wasn't it? They were doing it on Zoom and online. And then when we got locked down, you'd go Zoom only. Okay.
Yep. So I went there because I was like, I'm fully cooked. I need to go. And somehow, I don't remember the details of it, but leading up to that, about the week before, I remember driving to, look, Fee does know this. A few people know this, but I haven't really shared it. But I'm okay to share it, right? But I remember driving up towards Ferntree Gully. That's where my in-laws used to live. I remember driving up to like Dandy Mountains, and I'm sober at this time. Like, I'd been drinking the night before, but I was sober at that point, and I'm driving up Dandy Mountains, and I remember just sitting there for like 2 hours and going, should I jump? Should I jump? Like, and that was the point when that photo was taken, roughly, you know, within a couple of days or a couple of weeks or whatever. And I was like, I never thought my life would get to this point where I didn't really have suicidal thoughts. I kind of did, but it was more like I just want to die. Like I'm done. I'm so tired.
And is it the whole like that feeling of I can't live with it and I can't live without it?
Yeah,
So what am I going to do?
exactly.
It's that real hopelessness, isn't it?
So that was like completely hopeless.
Mm.
Like I'd called Beyond Blue, I'd called like the lifelines, like, and most of the time I would call them when I was drunk.
Yeah.
So by the time I was sober, and like I'd get a call back about something, like I was like, no, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
Mm.
Don't worry about it. I'm like, I'll sort this out today. I'll sort this out tomorrow. And I'd started calling some of the rehabs as well, leading up to that. I called a few. I'd always call them when I was drunk. They'd always call me back when I was sober.
I've actually fixed that problem now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your
I was like,
inquiry.
I'm good. You can stop calling me every day for the last 30 days. But yeah, we laugh about it now, but I was like, fuck, at the time I was like, this was horrible. Horrible.
It's torture.
Absolute torture. But yeah, something happened. Somehow, through some set of circumstances, I ended up at that meeting.
Why that meeting though? Because that's not
It's
exactly
not near my house.
Exactly. I'm so confused.
I don't know.
Do you think part of it was like, I'm going to go to a meeting, but I'm not going to go to one near where I live because I don't want to see anyone that
People
I may
that
not
I
know?
know. Yeah, yep.
Which is actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
You know, if that's a roadblock for you, go to another suburb.
That was the initial thing, but there was also the thing where it was a Thursday, and that was just the meeting that was on at that time.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking at the GPS going, it's actually not far. It's about 15 minutes, straight freeway to freeway. You get off at Burke Road, and I'm like, I'm there.
Amazing.
And that was it. And I was like, I just ended up there. And I remember just sitting there going, initially I was like, this is like the Truman Show. Like, because I always, like, I'm the center of the universe, right? Like I was initially always living in fantasy land. I'm going off a tangent, but I am going to talk about this.
Go.
I remember sitting on the train like years and years ago, going to work and going, you know what? Fuck, Dabo's going to listen to this and be like, you Gronk or whatever, right? Because I remember sitting on the train at work and I was like, if there's a terrorist attack, I know I'm not trained in like special ops or whatever, but what if there's a sniper that drops down? Let me finish. Like, not a sniper like a person, sniper rifle, like an actual gun that drops down, and all of a sudden it's like, Vim, we need your help, like Australian Federal Police or something. And I was like, I'm not trained. They're like, we don't care. And then throws me the gun and I take out this terrorist.
Yes, I can see that happening. Oh my God. That's such a perfect explanation of an alcoholic's mind.
That was me on the regular. On the regular. Twice a week at least.
Oh God.
But I was in Fantasyland, all right? Like I was
Yeah.
in Fantasyland, like nothing. What were we actually talking about? It was in. I know I had a point.
Well, we were talking about how you ended up at Rule 62.
Fantasyland. Sorry, yeah. So now I remember. Yeah. So I was in like super Fantasyland while I was drinking all the time. So by the time I got to Rule 62, I remember making up stories in my head, saying like rocking up to the meeting and people sharing their story, and I'm going, these guys have been fucking spying on me, like the Truman Show, or like my dad's spoken to them because he's been in AA for 40 years or something. So in my head, I'm like, this is a conspiracy. Everyone's out to get me.
Wow. Which is actually that paranoia. It can be really common when you're coming off a huge drinking binge.
Yep. And I remember going to the doctors and them telling me like you haven't slept for years. Like technically, like I hadn't really gone into REM sleep
Wow.
for a while.
Yeah.
It was just constantly passing out, you know?
Yep.
But yeah, I remember getting to that meeting and people were talking and I'm like, I didn't get hope straight away. I actually didn't. A lot of people do. I'm like, that's amazing. I didn't probably until like my fourth meeting or something.
Yeah, I was the same actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. It wasn't until I was like 10 days into my rehab stay that I was like, the cotton wool had been removed from my ears and I was actually hearing what they were saying. I think prior to that, I was so full of guilt, shame and remorse. Self.
Yeah.
What are they going to think of me? I can't believe this is happening to me. Like it's, that just chronic self-centered behavior and thought.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that you stumbled into this particular meeting, for those listening along who don't know, it's a steps meeting. So it's based around the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a newcomers meeting. So it's targeted at people who are new. Like it just seems like there couldn't have been a more perfect place for you to walk into, really.
Yeah.
And the people
were great.
And so you went to that first meeting and then what happened?
Went to that first meeting. I remember sitting in the far right corner and they asked, this was at a point where they got the newcomer to come up and read something at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what I read. I have no idea. Like even now thinking about the script, knowing the script, I was like, it must have been different back then. But they got me to get up and read something. And then we got to the end of the meeting and everyone's standing there. And I'm like, oh, this is a bit of a cult. Like, I don't know what's happening. And then we're standing there and then everyone starts holding hands and like saying this, like, you know,
The serenity prayer.
the serenity prayer. And I'm like, fuck, it is a cult. Like, what am I doing here? And it was just so strange, but I felt something. I was like, you know what? I think this is where I'm meant to be. Like, I didn't believe it at that point still. And I went back the next week. And then I went back the next week. And then I was on Zoom. And then I just switched to Zoom because I was like, I'd rather just drink. Like, something, like, I don't know, something's a bit off. I don't trust these people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's something sort of happening. But I started to get a bit of hope, I reckon, after like that third or fourth meeting, really.
So were you drinking in between the Thursday meetings? So were you drinking and then you would just come to another meeting and do that meeting. And then I imagine maybe we went on to lockdown or something, or you decided to do them on Zoom.
Yeah. I think it was a couple of weeks. So I went there in person, then all of a sudden, another lockdown. And I was like, oh, fuck, all right.
But you decided that you would drink and do the meeting.
Yes. So
Tell me that thought process. That's so, like, I understand it, but I would be too scared. I just wouldn't have gone on.
I should have done that. I should have just not been on, but I was like, I'm fooling everyone.
So it was like a bit of a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And it turns, fuck, it gets even worse. I hope Phil watches this because this is fucking hilarious, right? So about 6 months ago, Phil was up guest sharing at a meeting. He gets up and he's talking about this stuff, and I go up to him after. I was like, hey, Phil, remember that time, like, you know, you called me to check up on me after I was drinking initially, or those Zoom meetings? And he's like, Vim, that never happened. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, no, it kind of happened, but he's like, I didn't call you to check up on you. You called me. I called Phil to suss out whether he knew I was drinking in the meeting or not. I thought it was the other way around for 3 fucking years.
Oh my God.
So I thought I was fooling everyone, and I'm sitting there with my laptop and I've got bourbon behind it. And the one time, that time when I got caught out, I guess, was when I left the video on.
Oh my God.
After the meeting had finished.
Oh my gosh. And just started topping up your drink. Vim.
I think I tried to do it out of frame. I don't remember. It was so cooked.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So
It's crazy that I don't remember.
yeah, and I think it just highlights the insanity, the absurdity of the behavior that comes when you're in full flight.
Yeah.
And it really highlights for me just how miraculous it is that you're now sitting here 4 years clean and sober. So what happened? What shifted? Like, was it the identification that landed for you? Because I hear you talk at meetings now and like you get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like the penny fully dropped for you, which is such a gift. So like, what does it mean for you?
Yeah. I think what changed was I can't remember the exact point it happened, but I remember the feeling of when it happened, right? I might have been, I don't know, like 20 days sober or 30 days sober or something. And I remember being at this meeting, and I used to go along with Simon, like, you know, initially. And I remember leaving the meeting and he's like, you look different. Like, he said it to me. He was like, you look like you're actually happy to be here. And I was like, I actually am. Because I remember sitting in that meeting and going, this is my window. Like, it was almost like God was like shining that little light in, you know, just going, take this now or you're dead. Essentially. Like, that's what I remember feeling. That's what I remember sort of hearing. Like, just going, if I don't do this now, I'm done. And I remember just having that feeling like sort of overcome me. And that was that complete surrender. That was the surrender. It was like I think a Paran meeting on Saturday or something like that. And I was just like, I just completely surrendered.
What does surrender look like to you?
For me, back then or now? Like
Back then.
Back then, it was like, I'm willing to do whatever I need to do, no matter what the consequences, to get better. I'm willing to go to any lengths. I will literally, I remember saying to Simon at the time, I was like, I'll do anything you tell me for me to like be as happy as you are.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. I was like, I'm willing to do anything.
And like on a practical level, what did that look like?
I had to go to his house, start working through the steps. I was there every Tuesday, I think. We'd meet up. I the home group, I was there every week. I was doing service. I was greeting people at the door. I was helping set up. I'd go in early. I'd leave late. Like, I did everything that was asked of me in terms of what I could do to help someone else. Right. And it was always, and that's what he always said to me. He's like, you got to do something to get out of your own head. Like, for you to get out of your own head, you need to be helping someone else or doing something for someone else. So for me at that point, like, the practicality of it was that I was so stuck in my head prior to that, where I was like, I can't imagine really thinking about someone else and doing something for someone else, or like for the group, or for, this place or whatever. But after a while, it was kind of just like, it became normal.
I feel like a lot of people might think to themselves, oh, but I don't have the time. I work full time. I don't have the time to do this. Was that a thought that crossed your mind?
That's a great topic. Like, that's a great thing that you brought up, honestly, because that's something that I still think about today. Time, like the concept of time, like that whole thing initially, because I didn't want to get sober initially because I'm like, this is a week before my birthday. I'm turning 32, 30. We're like similar age, right? Like, it was around that time, and I'm like, I don't, like, I'm busy. I'm busy not paying my bills. I'm busy getting in trouble with the law. I'm busy whatever, like,
I'm busy drinking around
the
the
clock.
clock.
Drinking around the clock. Leave me alone. But yeah, I just felt like if I got sober, I was like, how am I going to have time to do this?
And also, you had your engagement party coming up.
Engagement party. I was still working. I was working full time.
Yeah.
I ended up taking leave at that point, like, to get well, I guess. But I still had a job. Like, I was still working. I think I went back to work at like 30 days sober or something. But I didn't see how it was going to work with all of that. But my sponsor, like Simon, was like, you're going to have to make it work. Like, if you're willing to do whatever it takes, like, this is what you sort of need to do. And when I spoke to my family, when I spoke to my missus, I was like, I'm going to make it work. I truly believe this is going to work. So I was still working Monday to Friday, full-time hours. I'm back at work at 30 days sober. I'm working full-time hours. I'm doing a meeting a day.
Wow.
So I did the 90 and 90.
Wow.
So
90 meetings in 90 days.
In 90 days, yep. For the first 3-4 weeks while I was off work, I was doing 2 to 3 meetings a day.
Wow.
Because I needed to.
What were you getting in those meetings at that time?
Honestly, just relief. Just relief. Like, I would get to a meeting, I'd get out of my own head. I'm not thinking about drinking, but as soon as I left the car park, I'm thinking about drinking again. So I'm like, fuck, all right, couple of hours, go home, eat, talk to mum and dad, get back to another meeting.
Yeah, wow. So it becomes like this safe place.
Yep. Yep. So I definitely wasn't free at that point. Obviously, like, a couple of months in or whatever, like a month in, but I started to get some relief. And that was probably around that 20, 30 days, because I'm like, I'm starting to believe that this thing might work for me.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. Yeah.
And so how long then until you got the relief and you started to feel free?
I could tell you that, actually. 4 months in.
Yeah. What happened? What shifted?
3 months in or 4 months in? I was around the point, around step 4. Step 4 inventory. I'm doing my step 4. I've done it with my sponsor. Within a week or two, I'm like, I haven't thought about drinking for a week. When did that change?
Wow.
Like, literally, and that was probably January, February 2022, like a couple of months after I got sober. We're in 2026 now. I'm like, I have not had the obsession to drink since I did my step 4.
That's incredible.
Ever. Like, I've had fleeting thoughts, maybe a handful of times, like, come in and be like, oh, maybe it's a nice day, have a Corona or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
it's the first thought, but then you very quickly go, and then what would happen?
Yeah, and then I'm like, then my life's going to turn to shit, so probably shouldn't. But since then, I have not, that obsession that constantly was stuck in my mind for years and years and years, and always going, when's the next drink? When's the next drink? Like, that thought, those thoughts, that obsession, gone. Gone.
And a lot's happened for you since you got sober. Like, your life has gotten really, really big. You got married, you became a dad. How has your recovery evolved with the changes in your life?
Completely changed. Look, for the first 2 years, I was doing a meeting a day. Roughly. Well, about 5, let's just say approximately like 5 meetings a week for the first 2 years. just over a year sober, I found out Fee was pregnant. I should start with this. We got married at 6 months sober. I got married at 6 months sober, 500 people at my wedding,
What?
and black label at every table. Like, it was nuts. Like, it was absolutely crazy, but it was amazing. Like, it was an amazing day. At that point, I'd made amends. Like, I'd been so far into the program at 4 or 5 months sober that I was ready.
Yeah.
Get married at 6 months, which is weird because 6 months before that, or even a year before that, I was drinking around the clock. And it got to my wedding day, I was like, it was amazing. Like being sober, And I've heard you talk about it like a couple of times, even on the podcast, like meetings and podcasts, and like you saying you don't remember your first wedding, and then you say like you and Damo recently, and I'm just like, that's amazing. Like,
yeah, it's incredible. It's such a gift.
such a gift, right? And I'm like, I'm sitting there, everyone's having fun. The weirdest thing was my Bucks party. Oh man,
You had a Bucks party sober?
I don't even think I've shared this in meetings.
I haven't heard this story yet.
You know what? Fucking, I'm going rogue. So it's happening. We went go-karting. We did some like real fun stuff, right? My brother knows, all my mates, everyone who's close to me knew that I don't drink. And my brother's like, look, maybe we'll just have something low-key. And if you're okay with it, we'll go back to my place and we'll hire a couple of girls and something, whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. That's fine. And me at 6 months, I'm like,
enjoy, guys.
I was like, I'm still people pleasing. I'm still haven't gotten past that point where I'm like, I can set boundaries and say no and stuff, whatever. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Cool. So I said yes. Had a lot of fun during the day. Went go-karting, did a couple of things. And then we get back to my brother's house in Druin. Like, a couple of the guys are drinking, they're doing their stuff. It didn't bother me. Like, even at that point, it didn't bother me. And it's okay because my wife does know about this. But they got a couple of, like, strippers or, barmaids or whatever, I don't know, whatever you call them. And they got me to get, like, they got one of the girls to give me a lap dance.
Oh, no.
I'm sober.
No.
I'm 6 months sober, and I'm like,
no.
and I'm like, this is the weirdest thing ever.
Do you just feel a little bit predatory? I don't know. Like,
I did. My head's,
it's like you can't.
like, I was like, I don't know what to think. I was like, it was crazy, but I'm just like, I'll just go along with it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Because I'm like, this is the stuff I used to do when I was drinking, but now that I'm sober, I was like, ugh. Like,
it doesn't quite fit. The old life doesn't fit in the new one. Yeah. Is the experience that I had anyway. Yeah, it's funny. Like, I didn't even have hens. I mean, well, we eloped in secret, so that would have kind of given it away. Hey, but like, like, it's just not. There's just things. There's other things that I would rather do now. Like 100%. It's just life changes, and that's okay.
Yeah, 100%.
So, life today is like, it looks so completely different, but you still show up for your recovery. You still go to meetings.
Yep.
What's the importance, do you think, of having a partner support you in your recovery who's not an alcoholic?
We've been together for 12 years.
Wow.
13 years coming up. And I made it clear from the start. I was like, this is what I need to do so I can show up for you as a husband, as a dad, as a brother, like for everyone. Like, I'm like, this comes first. But I've also got to be flexible enough to go, like, I've got a life to live, but AA is the foundation that actually helped me live my, and does continue, to help me live that life now. Like, recovery has changed, and I was saying around that 2-3 years, right? Like, my meetings sort of dropped down. I had to be home a lot more. Fee needed me around. I changed my home group, but I'm still around. Like, I've been sponsoring guys, and this is where, for me, the sponsoring, like that part, I've been sponsoring guys, other men, since I was 7 months sober, roughly.
Yeah.
And there have been periods of time where it's like I haven't had anyone to sponsor or whatever, but that's kept me sober. I still do, one or two meetings a week. Work with other guys on the weekends. I'm still on the phone. I'm nightly inventory. Like, I'm doing as much as I can.
Yeah.
But program looks different these days. It does. It definitely looks different to what it was 2 years ago, or even last year. Really.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I think allowing yourself to be, like, to let go of the control and to be a little bit more flexible with allowing life to move through you, and also just trusting that if you're living a life that's God-centered, you're going to be on the right path.
Correct.
And I like it and it does come back to service, doesn't it? Like, I think that, again, for me, has been such a foundation of my recovery, even if there's been seasons where I haven't been able to get to as many meetings or, do certain things like having sponsees, being able to be at the other end of the phone for people to support people as well. Like it just keeps you plugged in.
Yeah, I think even now, like I'll have periods where I'll try and reach out to more people, or I'll even try and reach out to people that I haven't spoken to for a couple of years, like guys that I used to run with, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So it's like it's always changing, it's always adapting, and I think I was so rigid in the way that I like not just ran my program, but even when I drank, like even my life before that, it was kind of like, this is what I need to do, this is the way it is, and that's it. And for me now, maybe over the last couple of months, I guess, really, like I look back and I'm like, I don't have to be so rigid. Like, God does want me to be a bit more flexible. He wants me to live my life. This is the way that I see it now. My higher power, like, is looking after me. So I don't have to be so rigid. I can change. I can adapt. I was talking to like, I've only had 2 sponsors since I got sober, and my most recent sponsor, like he's got a couple of young kids. I switched over to him like about a year ago, and he's like, Vim, we can be a bit flexible. He's like, like God's got your back. Just run your program.
Yeah.
Things will change. It'll be okay.
Exactly right. Yeah. Stay honest with yourself, because I think that like at the end of the day, as people who were, we've both agreed, like we were manipulative and sneaky and dishonest in our lives. And then, you get 4 years of living a really honest life with a program. You can start to trust your instinct a little bit more, and you can start to make some decisions. And we know ourselves when we're running rough, when we need to up our meetings, when we need to lean in and do a little bit more. But, I say this all the time on the podcast. I didn't get sober to live a small life. Yeah. I want to live a big, beautiful life. And I also want to lead by example and show what's possible.
100%. And like we were saying earlier, like we're laughing now.
Yeah.
Because we can.
Yeah.
Like we've been through it. Like I've been through a lot of pain. I've been through a lot of that stuff. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this as a gift. Like life is completely turned around, and
how do you navigate the hard stuff today? Because we don't get a free pass, when we get sober. Life still happens, and we have to learn how to do it without anything to blunt the edges. So how do you navigate the hard times now?
Still taking the action, still doing the stuff. So I'll give you an example. Like in the last year, so I don't know if you experienced this, but like hitting 3 to 4 years. Oh my God, what the fuck happened? Mine
was a bit earlier. Mine was like 1 to 2 was really hard. Yeah. And sort of 2 to ish 3. Yeah.
So my 1 to 2, 1 to 3. Yeah. 3 is always like amazing. Like not pink cloud. Like I was a bit realistic, like towards the end of it, but I'm like, I got to 3, fucking my head went off, like has been off. And there have been so many things that have happened in life from like around that time. So Christmas last year, I'm not going to go into super detail about it, but like there were issues with like my wife's family, friend, like, cousins and stuff. There were things that happened, just stuff with like, my dad, like dealing with my parents, just that kind of stuff, and like how to deal with people. Yeah. Fee actually had a miscarriage, started last year, which was a different. So these are all the life scenario things that are the life situation things that have happened.
Yeah, it's hard stuff.
It's hard stuff. And like all throughout that though, like my sponsor, like he would tell me, he's like, Vim, like very understanding. Love him out. Love the dude. Absolutely love the dude. And he just said, like, just keep running your program, just keep doing what you're doing. He's like, just have faith, just trust that it's gonna work out. And it has. Like there have been times I was able to like, feel my emotions and actually grieve. Like, me and Fee, like Fee's super strong as well, like that. Thank God for that. Like she's definitely been there for me, and there were a lot of these times, like my meditation I was saying at the start kind of dropped off a little bit around that time.
Well, sometimes when you're going through that amount of grief, it's really hard to sit in stillness.
Yeah. It was very hard. And
maybe you need to move. Maybe you need to, like just, being a little compassionate towards yourself.
Yeah. It was a lot of change. So yeah, I don't know. Like I sort of slowed down on a couple of things. I was still praying every single day, but like the meditation kind of went down from like 20 minutes to 3 minutes a day or whatever it was. But I still continued to do it. And then after like, a week or a couple of weeks and then a couple of months, it's like, start to feel better. Just keep doing it. And then my program I guess, starts to amplify again. I guess I'm like, cool. Now I've got another 2 sponsees, so I'm meeting up with them on the weekend. I can do extra couple of meetings a week, whatever. Be there for my family, you know, switch around my working from home days. Still go to work, still show up, and still do the things, but allow myself to feel it, you know. So
it sounds like no matter what's happened for you over the last 4 years, you've never been far from your program and your recovery.
Yeah, no. And I've got good running mates too. Like I've got not just good running mates, but people around that will notice if I'm missing.
Yeah, it's important.
Like if I'm gone for a couple of months, people are like, what the fuck? Like there were times because I switched, right? I switched a couple of groups and certain meetings I stopped going to, and people will, which is crazy because it's like initially coming in, you know, I was scared for people to get to know the
to
real
get close.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, if you knew me, you'd hate me. Like there's such a persona, like such a mask, you know, you put on when you come in. It's crazy. And it's very, it's weird because once you break that barrier, it's completely fine.
Yeah.
But before that, it's just, there's just, I don't know, like it's just so tense.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that most people move through the world with walls up,
Yeah.
you know, guarded. And that's something that's so beautiful about the program is that you meet people who are just like you. We look different, we sound different, we have completely different upbringings and backgrounds, but we connect.
Yeah.
You know,
It's that one thing, that common thing that we've all got. And it's like if I hadn't seen you for ages, when I saw you a month ago, and we were still, I was like, oh my God, like nothing's changed. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we could just chat for ages about whatever. And even now, I'm just like, we could honestly just chat away for hours, you know?
Very special. It's very special.
It's like we can't, like we have lives, you know? Like I would love to still be doing 5 meetings a week.
Totally.
But
you got other responsibilities.
Be a balance, you know?
100% agree. Oh my God. Vim, you are so inspiring and I freaking love you to bits. I love chatting to you. I've loved having you here today. We have a question that we like to end the podcast on. So I would love to know, what are your 3 non-negotiables that allow you to live happy, authentic and free?
Wow. I didn't realize there were 3 last questions.
Take your time.
3 non-negotiables.
For now. These, I know like they always change for me.
Yeah.
Right at this point in your life.
Right at this point, prayer. Meditation. At the moment, prayer, meditation. So prayer twice a day, multiple times a day if I need. Meditation at least twice a day. When I'm at work, sometimes 5 times a day.
Just popping up to the quiet room.
Yeah. I'll be back in 15 minutes. And my nightly inventory.
Nice.
So I think, and that most important one I reckon is that third one, the nightly inventory for me, because what I do is, like I no longer treat that as like a work thing. Yeah, it's a chore. It's just like I have to do this and I let everything go at night. So I'm never like, it's been, now that I think about it, and I haven't really thought about this for a while, but now that I think about it, I was like, I haven't really carried anything over like at least a year, like in terms of the next day. There have been so many things that happen and I'm like, fuck nah, like life's still good. I can still wake up, reset.
That's huge.
Things have happened, whatever, but I've left it. And yesterday, I'm not being too hard on myself, which I used to be. And it's just, it's fresh. Like I just start fresh.
Yep.
Every single day.
Any resentment, any fear, you like leave it, you know, give it to God, leave it there, wake up in the morning, it's a clean slate, it's a new day. Gratitude.
I don't do gratitude lists. I know. That's the one. My sponsor never had me do it. I've only done in like 30 of them.
Please get onto a gratitude list.
So my new sponsor was like we were talking about it and he's like, look, mate, like some people don't, like they show gratitude in different ways. Of
course.
Right? And that kind of stuff. And some people like can't express it enough in the kind of way. And I was like, yeah, that's me.
Do you know what though? You are a very naturally positive and effervescent person. So you're not somebody that I think would be like, oh, you need to rewire some neural pathways there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I, as somebody who practices gratitude daily, like the difference it makes, I cannot tell you.
I've had a lot of running mates that will say that to me, that, hey, when are you starting your gratitude list? And I was like, maybe 2026, I don't know. Could be a thing.
This could be new year, new you. Vim on 100%. The gratitudes for 2026.
Yeah.
Unreal. Hey, Vim, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here today. We say here on Behind the Smile that when we recover loudly, no one needs suffer in silence. So thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story.
Love you heaps, Ash. That's awesome.
Thanks, Vim.
Love your work. It's awesome.